Hello, my name is Alex, I'm the Patchwork Nerd, and today's video is going to be very moody as far as lighting goes because my light in my office died and I only have my lamp. The sun is starting to go down and my little light that I use for videos, I forgot to charge the last time I used it and now it's completely dead. But on the bright side, no pun intended there, we are just gonna chit chat about writing and about my novel To Market and just do a little bit of reflecting. So I don't think this is gonna be like a formal, here are the top 5 things you need to know about anything kind of thing. It's just gonna be a chit chat and I'm probably gonna ramble a lot and I hope you guys are okay with that. I'm just in one of those very pensive, introspective moods where I just want to think about things. I know it's definitely because 2018 is winding down and this is just the time of the year where you really start reflecting about the things that you did and the things that you hope to do in the future. And also today for Writer's Patch, the topic was about goals and aspirations. So while writing those questions, I was very much thinking about my goals, my aspirations, and the things that I've accomplished this year. So I just want to talk about where I am and where I'm going and what I hope to do and maybe just kind of work through some things with you guys. So sorry editing Al in advance because this is probably not going to be fun to edit. Otherwise just don't edit it and just every so often edit out the ums and the uhs and give yourself a break. You don't have to edit out every time you take a breath, because sometimes you need to take a breath when you are talking to a camera for an excessive amount of time. So editing Al, you just be nice to yourself and try to take it easy on this one. Did you bring me tea?
Wes? Wes?
Wes! Are you my Wes now? Thank you, dear. Ooh, which kind did you make me?
Vanilla chamomile.
Chamomile?
Chamomile?
Love you. Honey? Alex?
Yeah.
You complete me.
Huh?
You complete me.
Uh-huh.
I will very. Oh, hot, 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 hot. Okay, we are gonna let that cool down for a little bit. Oh, there we go. We can get some of the. Here, let's hang these up here. And get ourselves a little more light going. Oh no, stay. Good lights, good fairy lights. There we go. There we go. That's helping, kind of. In short, I have my bullet journal from the 2017 actually is when I started, and it goes all the way through 2018. And I will probably page through this in another video just to do kind of like a bullet journal reflection. In short, the thing that I really discovered is that I accomplished a lot this year, and I didn't really give myself as much credit as I probably should have. That is the one thing I really have a hard time with, is giving myself credit. But with my novel, I did want to have it completely finished by like April of this year, and that definitely did not happen. On the other hand, I feel stronger as a writer now than I ever have before, and I also feel more mentally stable as a writer and as a creator than I ever did before. And that is a humongous accomplishment. So I'm really looking forward to finally getting out there and submitting a story and seeing what happens with the querying process and seeing what happens with just all the ideas that I have. Biggest things that I want to accomplish is getting To Market ready by May. That is my ideal goal. I want it to be ready, polished, and queryable, that is a weird word to say, by May, because that is when a pitch contest happens that I think it would be a really good fit for, and I just feel like May is a good time to shoot for because we got January, February, March, April, May. That's 5 months. 5 months. I should be able to, if I buckle down and make the proper plan, I should be able to have it ready by then. I should have it beta read. I should have it just ready and raring to go by then. So what I need to do is sit down and make a more tangible plan. I need to sit down and figure out what my revision plan is. I probably need to go on YouTube and cyberstalk every person on AuthorTube who talks about revisions to see what they do, because usually I take everybody's methods and I patchwork them together. Patchwork. Name drop. And I figure out what pieces work for me and take out the pieces that don't work for me. And I really need to do that more, because during NaNoWriMo, when I was working on revisions, it was more identifying the problems and the things that needed to be worked on further. And now I'm going into the actual revision part where it is stopping and going through. And I'm new to this because a lot of times when I was younger, I would write a story in one draft and never fix it, never do anything besides basic grammar and punctuation stuff. And now I am much more at the stage where I create very sloppy drafts and then I need to build off of them. So I guess I would really love your guys' help if you are familiar with the revising process. If you could tell me in the comments below what exactly your method is, because I get a little bit overwhelmed when I sit down to revise, because it's like, do I completely rewrite the whole chapter, or do I insert things into the chapter that it feels like needs to be there? I get a little overwhelmed because to me, writing is very much like a continuous thread that I'm trying to keep from cutting, and it feels like taking the thread and putting something new in it is going to just make it really messy, and that really overwhelms me with the process. So I would love to hear how you guys go about that, if that makes sense, and just to borrow ideas, because I am very new to this. This is my first time getting this far with a novel in a really, really long time. So there's a lot of things that I've just kind of been out of practice with, and I'm never going to claim to be a writing expert by any means. I try to always build this channel off of being raw and organic and honest. That sometimes there's times where I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and revisions is a very overwhelming process for me. But on the other hand, when I think about revisions, it's also one of the most like exhilarating and exciting parts. For as much anxiety as I feel, I also feel so much excitement in comparison to when I'm writing my zero draft or in sandbox mode, just word vomiting on the page, because it feels like this is finally the time where it gets to be the story that I'm seeing in my head. I also have to slow myself down a little bit because I have realized this novel has sequel potential, and there's times where I'm just sitting and working on things for the book to market, and little bits, little seeds of things that would work in a sequel to this novel just pop out at times, and there's this part of me that's like, it is time to go write that, and I'm like, no, sit down, hang on, calm down, you gotta finish this first one first, and you cannot think about sequels right now. And that's tricky because part of me is also wondering, should I revise for this next month? Like, should I revise for January and then let it sit in the drawer for a month and then come back to it? And should I work on other projects, or what is the best thing to do? Or should I keep this momentum going? Because I skipped NaNoWriMo doing a traditional, you know, brand new story because I wanted to keep the momentum going. But part of me is wondering if it's almost time to slow down once I get through this round of revision. And the other thing that's really complicated is that I took a break pretty much throughout the month of December. I really haven't worked on my novel that much. I have been working on video content for Vlogmas. I have been working on just mental health and self-care, and I really haven't been doing very much stuff. I've done a handful of things for like my story Bible that I'm putting together. I'm wondering if this kind of counts as that break. So should I just really dive in hard starting in January and keep going until it's done? Or should I go really hard, take a break, go really hard, take a break? It's so hard to know. And I'm sure it's hard for you guys to tell me what is best to do because, you know, it's a personal thing. It's very much based off of your experiences and what works best for you. I guess this is just kind of my way of thinking out loud and trying to decide what I want to do. And the main thing that I really want to do is, I have my brand new bullet journal. It's in the other room, but it's for my 2019 year, and I need to get that set up really, really soon because I am going to pretty much come up with my plan month by month for what my writing goals are. And I feel like until I sit down and see it in its physical form, the plan, I'm going to just be very hesitant about what is going to work best. And I also need to figure out a way of holding myself a little more accountable, because a lot of times if something's going really well, then I kind of stop using whatever the system is that I've devised for myself and I just kind of go rogue. If I go away from the system that I make too much, like in my bullet journal, then I tend to slowly slip out of good habits and into bad habits. It's just so tricky, and it's a mind game, and it is definitely an exploration. And the other tricky thing is that I'm realizing how much I love making video content. So I'm also trying to figure out, how do I strike that balance, because I work a full-time job. I work 40 hours a week. I've got a husband, I've got a dog, I've got a, family life, I've got a social life, kind of as social as, us introverts get. I'm trying to figure out how to balance all of that with writing. I want to read more this year. I want to try to make more videos, like not just writing videos, like making Vlogmas videos made me realize how much I want to make more content and I want to experiment more. I feel like this is my opportunity to really finally dive into creating visual media in the way that I never thought I could before. It's all about finding balance, and I'm trying to discover where in all of this that I can find balance. It's very, very tricky. I just need to figure out where to give and take, because I'm human and there's only so much I can do in a day, and there is only so much energy that I have. So I guess that's another question that I have for you guys is, how do you find balance with all of the things that you want to do? Because I'm excited about this. For once, I'm not overwhelmed. I'm excited that I have so much creative energy in so many different directions that I have the potential to do so much this year. I mean, I'm looking back and I'm realizing I made so many videos this year. I never would have thought that. I never would have thought that I would reach 1,000 subscribers this year. I was thinking 500, 400. Those are great. Those are amazing numbers. And now I'm almost to 1,800 subscribers, and I'm just wondering what the heck happened. And I'm connecting with more writers, and I went on a writing retreat this year. I never in 1,000 years would think that little old introverted hobbit who doesn't leave the Shire, me, would venture out and do that. And now I'm planning on doing more adventures like that this coming year. And it's mind-blowing how much can happen and how much can change in a year. And I'm really excited to see what happens next. So I know that these creative adventures are going to be overwhelming at times, and I know that there are definitely going to be times where I bite off more than I can chew, because I always do. But I'm really excited to try to find that balance and to try to come closer to that creative clarity that will allow me to make consistently and to make openly, to do all of the things I want to do. Because I talked about this also in the community section of my YouTube channel. You should really check that out, because I run polls about topics and announcements and all that kind of stuff there. But I was talking about the idea of doing a monthly short story where I write and read aloud a short story, which kind of ties into Haunt Patch, which was something that I did as a one-off that was meant to be a series about 1.5 years ago. And Haunt Patch was where I would create a story using dares from my audience, and then I would have like a multiple part story. The big complication with that is I realized that I shouldn't break it up into multiple parts, because that's just really time consuming with all the other projects I'm working on. I need to just do the one contained within the video and then be done. I mean, how else are you gonna learn if you don't make experiments? And the crazy thing is, if Haunt Patch wouldn't have happened, if I hadn't experimented with that, To Market wouldn't have existed. That is the other reason why I didn't continue with Haunt Patch, is because I wrote the beginning of To Market and realized this needs to be a novel. This isn't a short story. And it's amazing how you can take something and think, oh, this is technically a failure because I meant for this to be a series and I meant for it to be this big thing. And then look at it and go, well, wait, it's not a failure because you just took it and turned it into something else. It didn't go as expected, but that's not a bad thing. I would love to experiment with the idea of doing kind of like a different form of Haunt Patch where I tell you guys original short stories and almost do it like podcast form. And I'm trying to figure out how much can I put on my plate before it is too much. I'm curious and I'm excited, and I am realizing how much I'm capable of because I did Vlogmas. It's crashed and burned a few days in a row. I've only made like 9 videos, but I've made 9 videos. 9 videos. That's just insane. I never would have thought that I'd be capable of doing anything like that. So I'm really proud of where I've come from. And the things that might be considered failures or mishaps have all spawned into positive experiences. And I think it's because I have found the positive side of those things that might have been otherwise considered negative. I have spun them into what they were meant to be. That is just so satisfying. So I'm feeling really good about what is ahead of me for 2019. And I feel really positive that this year was meant to be the building blocks and the foundation to show me just how much I'm capable of. And now I need to just remind myself of how much I'm capable of and just run and not hold back and not be scared of myself, because that is another thing. When I am scared of failing or not being good enough, I freeze. And I've talked to you guys about this before, but I freeze to the point that I literally hold still and I don't move. It's as if my anxiety is a velociraptor in the bushes that may or may not be there, and I am just freezing because a velociraptor might pop out, but it's probably not gonna pop out. I'm just constantly worried about the velociraptors, and I'm loving this metaphor. But anyway, I need to remind myself to keep moving despite the possibility of velociraptors in the bushes. I really hope that you guys find the balance that you need to have your creative pursuits, and I know that we as artists tend to be down on ourselves for not getting as much done and not checking off the things on our to-do list, but really stop and think about the little things that are positive that you've pulled out from the experiences that you've had. Maybe you've wrestled with mental health this year and you've come out from the other side with more clarity about how to take care of yourself. That is something to celebrate. Or maybe you've realized the ritual that you need to be able to get into the creative zone. You found the scented candle that you need, the cup of tea that you need. Maybe you read a book that really sparked something wonderful inside of you. Celebrate all of those things. They are important, and they are key to making up who you are. So keep aspiring to be who you want to be, and keep aspiring to be yourself. That was another thing I really enjoyed about Writer's Patch today, is I asked a question of who do you aspire to be like? There were very great responses about people who aspire to be like authors that they admire, family members that they admire, but there was a handful of people that talked about how they aspire to be themselves. And I thought that was really important. A lot of times we spend so much time comparing ourselves to others and wishing we had as much as they had, or wishing we had the talent they had or the skills they have. And we need to stop and realize that the only person you have at the end of the day, 100%, is yourself. So aspire to be you. Beautiful, perfect you. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope you guys are having a wonderful winter season, regardless of if you actually are experiencing winter right now. And I hope that this holiday season, regardless of whether you celebrate the holidays or not, I hope that you have mental kindness and clarity and self-love, because you deserve that. And I will definitely be filling you guys in on more of my goals for the 2019 season. And I will have more bullet journal stuff coming for you guys, and I will have more writing stuff as always. So until I see you next time, remember, keep writing, keep laughing, most importantly, please keep encouraging each other, and keep encouraging yourself too. That's important. I'll see you next time. Toodles!